Next in our exploration of social constructivism, let's talk about the conversational framework of Diana Laurillard. Can you think of a course you've taken that was entirely lecture-based, with no room for student and teacher conversation and interaction? How did that kind of learning environment work out for you? The conversational model directly opposes the concept of lecture-only based instruction. It was first published in 1993, and it relates specifically to e-learning in higher education. We'll review it over the next 5 minutes, then you'll be presented with a discussion question. Laurillard's model highlights the importance of conversation, reflection, adaptation, evolution, and engagement to the learning process. What makes the model special is that she expects the instructor to reflect and adapt her teaching to meet the needs of the student. Teachers and students engage with each other, rather than the former speaking only to the latter. So, teaching is a process of mediated learning rather than imparted knowledge. The conversational model is, at heart, about educational dialogue and equality. When using it, both instructor and student are expected to agree on learning objectives and goals. The instructor is expected to present an initial model, but then be prepared to adapt it to meet student needs and conceptions. Learners must also adapt by reflecting and integrating feedback from the instructor. Here we see a diagram that illustrates Laurillard's model. On the left, you'll see the teacher's concepts and environment, and how they flow into and away from the student's concepts and actions on the right. It's all cycle-based. The chart shows the interaction between set goals, action, feedback, and ultimate adaptation of those goals. Another vital part of Laurillard's epistemology is her attention to online methods for information delivery. She seeks to redefine online media types not as message carriers or transmitting sources, but rather as a way to encourage discursive, adaptive, interactive, and reflective learning processes. She divides media into 5 categories: narrative, interactive, adaptive, communicative, and productive. Let's talk about these categories more individually. The first type, narrative media, is based on linear presentation of information. Linear media include print, audio, lecture, and broadcast TV or film. These objects are non-interactive and not always computer-based. While narrative media lessons offer a clear structure and are often accepted as significant pedagogical tools, they are non-interactive and therefore aren't always useful in the conversational framework. Interactive media objects are linear in nature, like narrative types, but they're user-controlled. They may include text, audio, or video that can be stopped, rewound, fast-forwarded, or otherwise manipulated by the learner. So the materials don't change for the learner, but the individual can control the pacing to modify the environment slightly. Adaptive media objects are user-controlled, but the outcome changes based on user input. Computer-based simulations, games, and online tutorials that offer feedback are excellent examples of this type of media. Still, there isn't a real level of communication because only one live human is involved. Communicative media allow people to communicate with other people. The communication can be text, audio, or video-based. Email, instant message, Skype, wikis, and video conferencing are all excellent examples. Communicative media facilitate conversation between professor and student, but also from student to student. Therefore, they're very useful in the conversational model. Productive media platforms require action by the learner. These include microworlds, which require the user to operate in a computer-based mini-world to solve problems and create output. Modeling programs are another example. To provide a final overview, Laurillard says that effective teaching can incorporate the different media types in different ways to facilitate conversation. Laurillard's model advocates for a social constructivist model of higher education. She believes that learning should be based on the co-establishment of goals, interaction, and modification of mental models on the part of the instructor and student through the use of computer-driven media types. Please proceed now to the discussion question.